James Barnes Business. I am forever trying to tell folks that we know a lot of things. And if you know things, you could prepare for things, and then you could tackle things. And one thing we know, in a weird way, is we know who's going to vote in November. I know we always say you can never know who's going to vote. We can. And we know this because patterns that you and I all create when we go vote. And then, we look at that information and we can kind of make some pretty wise decisions on them. And so one of the things I do after a primary is I go back and I look and see who voted in the primary and then who came back to vote in the general. And it's a real easy equation. It's, did they vote or did they not vote in the primary, and did they come back and vote in the general? And so the rate of return is something that I look at, and it's like a given. It's like a given. You just know. These voters are going to vote, and for the most part, you know how they're going to vote. And it's 95%. So I assign them. I assign the best value to this voter. I give them what I call a target group 1A. This after the primary, because we know they voted, and we know historically speaking. Here's you got in 2024 there was a 96% return from those voters, and in 2023 there was 22 there was a 93% return. 2020 a 96 on the Republican side, Democrats 95, just a little change there. And then of course in 2018 I was 95, and then of course this last in 16 was 94 Republican, 93 Democrat. And so just and we've got also built into this a little bit more enthusiasm given the season. And so we're going to see a 95% return on those voters. And so there were 284,868 of those types of voters. So, if we do the equation, that gives us 270,000 voters. Well, 270,000 voters is going to make up about 40+% of the entire turnout in this given election. And and we know that the Republicans will vote for the Republicans for the most part. There'd be a little bit of bleed, but let's just call it even. And the Democrats will vote for Democrats. So in a weird way, for instance, we're talking Bexar County, we're starting off with we're gonna come out with 90,000 with that equation. We had 95,000 votes. We're going to come out with 90,000 votes, give or take a couple here or there. And the Democrats will come out. They had 189,000. It's called 190,000. They're going to come back with 180,000 votes. And so we're already down just out the chute. They get to start off with 90,000 votes. So we've got to go find those votes somewhere if we're going to make that up. And so that's kind of it. We have what I call about a 90,000. My equation puts it 89,990, but let's call it 90,000 vote gap. And so we start off with some work to do just to begin as the Republican Party. And this is really, there's no way to change this equation. I mean, you could do what you can do, but history is proven, and it will prove itself again in this area. So if you want to know more about how this all works, call me. I'd be happy to tell you. You should hire me, because then I can help you walk through this day in and day out, and it's not make it easy then, right? But for now, this is a freebie. Rate of return, you get to say the Republicans who voted, you go figure out who they are. They're coming back 95%, and of course the Democrats are also coming back 95%. And so if you know your district, you know where those gaps are. You need to fill those gaps in. I can find them for you. Barnes Business, let's go. Let's get on to business. We got a lot of work to do.